Similar scenes all over the world as teams look to qualify for the World Cup next summer. The scene will be here in Orlando, where the United States have pushed themselves up against the wall. They still can control their own destiny, but need to come up with the result against Panama here in Central Florida. We tell you to focus on spots 3, 4, and 5. Panama, United States, Honduras, Mexico's already in, Costa Rica just about there. But who qualifies automatically? Who goes to the playoff? Who goes home? This is what it looks like. 1 point separate those three. That's the schedule up front for the U.S. It's Panama here Tuesday at Trinidad and Tobago. Glad you could join us. I'm Max Brodos. There's Casey Keller, Hercules Gomez, Taylor Twellman. I'll start with you, Taylor. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous about the next few days. How do you feel about how the U.S. are playing, how they put themselves in this position?
Well, it's not surprising that they're in this position because, remember, they opened up this hexagonal round of qualifying, losing to Mexico and then losing to Costa Rica. So you knew at some point their backs were against the wall. I think the result in New York was a little surprising at home against Costa Rica because Costa Rica really only had 2 chances, and those were mistakes from the back four of the United States. But at the beginning of this round of qualifying, if you would have asked the United States Soccer Federation, Sunil Gulati, Dan Flint, Jurgen Klinsmann at the time, Bruce Arena now, you get to pick 2 games to end the round of qualifying, Panama at home, at Trinidad. So they've got you saw the schedule. They've got the 2 easiest games you can ask for this, and yet all of us are talking about how their backs are against the wall. In my opinion, they should easily take care of this. Whether they do so, that's a different question.
Hercules, things haven't come easy, though, in the last few games leading up to this game here in Orlando.
Well, that's because the margin of error is so small. You talk about what it takes to win and be successful in the hexagonal. It's securing points at home and stealing them on the road. 9 points right now. If you would have secured against Mexico and Costa Rica, that's 16. With the possible 6 or 15, possible 6 going on, that's 21. 21 usually wins you the hex. That's been the margin of error.
You can't drop another game at home. That's pretty much the MO here. If you want to qualify for the World Cup, you got to take care of business at home.
Well, when you think about this qualifying hex or this qualifying round, you have a situation where the U.S. has not lost 2 home qualifyings in the last 20 years. Now they lose 2 in this single one. That's why you're in the trouble. You're in the trouble because you're not winning on the road and you're losing games at home. So what does that do? That puts you in trouble. But yes, you have the opportunity. It's still in your own hands. You can put it right. This is a very forgiving format. And this is a format that's set up so the U.S. can now win a home game against a team they should beat in Panama and go on the road where historically they've won games.
And you know what's weird, Casey? The scariest stat of why there's so much anxiety with U.S. soccer fans is 9 points out of your first 8 games. The best any team has ever done in CONCACAF is 4th place playoff. And yet this year, to Casey's point, it's been a little forgiving where they're mathematically not out if they lose at home. So that's how crazy.
CONCACAF has always been very forgiving. You look at last World Cup cycle with Mexico, 11 points, no wins at home, and they still go.
It's always been forgiving?
It's always been forgiving. That's CONCACAF for you.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Listen, whether it's been forgiving or not, the pressure's mounting for the United States, and criticism has come after the last few games about their performance, and Tim Howard addressed that.
I don't think most of the guys even worry a day, an hour about that criticism. It's nothing. You know, this is, like I said, when you get to this level, you have to expect criticism. You have to expect, and you know what? You have to handle praise the same way you handle criticism. And so it's just a balancing act.
We're happy to deliver the praise if they get the victory over Panama. But this has been a bit of a new phenomenon with regards to this U.S. team getting that criticism from the press, from the fans. Taylor?
They should be criticized. Yep. They should be criticized. That's fact. The fact is you've only got 9 points out of 8 games. You should be criticized for the amount of resources that have gone into the United States Soccer Federation and for some of the, I would say, flaws, particularly 2 generations not qualifying, as Casey rightfully so, for the Olympics. That has shown itself. You should take the criticism. But the reality is this. If they get 6 points out of these games, 4 points out of these games, and qualify for Russia, is anyone going to really be talking about, what are we, October of 2017? I'm not sure about that. But the fact is, at this moment, they deserve criticism.
All will be forgotten.
Well, listen, they're used to criticism. Tim Howard is used to criticism. They're just not used to criticism with the U.S. men's national team. They don't expect that from the American media, and that's the problem. Now there's more attention, there's more eyeballs than ever before on this sport. You're going to get it, and deservedly so.
Well, and the reason why the criticism is coming, I think, as strong as it is because in the past when it's been close, they've come up with a good result. So as the criticism was starting to build and starting to kind of want to go, if they beat Costa Rica a month ago, we're not in this situation. You lose at home to Costa Rica. Okay, now the criticism starts again. Now you go beat Honduras on the road. The criticism goes away. You scrape a draw. You barely get a draw in that. So the reason the criticism coming is simple enough, because the results aren't there, and they've come in the past.
That Bobby Wood goal, I know we all talked about how monumental it was because the standings would look a whole lot different. You'd see Honduras ahead of them and USA in fifth, where they don't control their own destiny, and things would be quite problematic. We'll see if the daggers will be out for the U.S. team. We hope for the best. You know we do. And join us Friday for a game that's huge for the United States. Their opponent, you could argue it's the biggest in Panamanian sports history. It'll all be coming your way Friday night. We're pumped for it. A little nervous, yes, but pumped. See you then.